Have been like getting that chemistry.
I didn't think Jacksonville, and I came here, I was like, man, this feel like home.
You want to maybe use that in the sand pit or like...
Experience pain? Then say yes to Yass.
Early morning here in Canton, Ohio.
One of SEC media days.
Training camp, early part of it. What's up, Jacksonville?
On 1010XL.
90.5 FM. Pleased to be joined with Jaguars running back James Robinson.
What's it been like getting that chemistry?
I didn't think Jacksonville, and I came here, I was like, man, this feel like home.
You want to maybe use that in the sand pit or like a chip-in situation.
Vision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Fed up with settling for mediocre pet food? Go to Paul Licken Good, your one-stop shop for affordable, high-quality raw pet food. Their Prey Model blend mimics the way your dog's ancestors consume their meals. It strengthens the immune system and bone health. Their Prey Model blend mimics the way your dog's all-natural USDA-inspected human-grade meats. No fillers, no artificial additives. Check out all the 5-star Google reviews off Lane Avenue near Lenox. Call 625-8600. That's 625-8600. Or visit paullickengoodraw.com.
WJXL AM and FM, Jacksonville Beach. 1010XL. 1010XL. Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's time for Pain-Free Living with Dr. Mitchell Yass and the Yass Method for Pain-Free Movement on 1010XL. Here's Matt Hayes.
Good Sunday morning to you, Jacksonville. It's the Pain-Free Living Hour with Dr. Mitchell Yass. I'm Matt Hayes. He's Dr. Yass. He's going to give you the tools to have a pain and live a pain-free life. There are 3 ways to get involved. Call us and talk to Dr. Yass at 904-641-1010. Text your question to Dr. Yass to the text line brought to you by our good friends at Lifetime Enclosures, 904-641-1010. Or watch us on the live stream on the 1010XL YouTube channel. Last week, we talked about shoulder shockers and how to eliminate the pain in your shoulder. Today's show is unique. We're going to go through the entire process of pain-free living from start to finish with Dr. Yass. By that, we mean you're in pain, you hear the show every Sunday, and you're intrigued. So what do? You call Dr. Yass at 904-906-YASS. You explain your problem. He further explains the Yass method, and you make an appointment. Then you go see Dr. Yass at his office. Or if you decide a Zoom session works better for you, you set up a Zoom session. And Dr. Yass evaluates you and confirms your cause to be muscular, which he has found in 98% of the cases, it is muscular. He then walks you through the purposeful exercises that you perform to get pain-free. Today's testimony is from Robert, who followed that scenario to a T. So, Dr. Yass, let's explain today's show and our special guest.
Thanks, Matt. Good morning and happy Sunday morning to you. So, I wanted to do this show because we're now 7 weeks in and we're getting some great feedback from callers, and I've actually had people come to the show, to my office from the show, and I just thought that it would be important for people listening to the show to hear from somebody, because I always feel that there's just so many people out there who are suffering with chronic pain. They've tried all the usual methodology and it just hasn't worked for them. And so they hear this and it's clearly unique. There is nothing like the Yass method. And I want to try to incite an easier transition to actually making the call to utilize the method to see just how easy it is and just how fast you can be out of pain. So I thought it would be fun to have someone who's actually done that, and it's kind of the coolest thing about this with Robert is the fact that he actually called day one. Literally, after our first show, Robert called and made an appointment. So we're talking about this is just 6 weeks out from that point, and I just thought it would be nice to talk to Robert and let him explain what the process was, what made him or convinced him to pull the trigger and make the call. So, Robert, thank you so much for coming in studio and talking to us about the situation.
Sure. Well, I am a lifelong athlete, or at least I consider myself to be a weekend warrior, and my back was killing me. And I knew there had to be a better way. I didn't want to have the downtime of surgery, so I called Dr. Yass and went in, and he, to my disbelief, I guess, is he quickly figured out what was wrong with me, and it was a weak left side. And the process has been great. I'm without pain. I'm able to resume, walking, running, working out, playing golf, and it's been fantastic.
One of the things I'd want to bring up about Robert is he's had lower back pain almost his entire life. And he had mentioned to me that he was a caddy as a kid or a teenager.
Well, it was my own golf bag, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that, in fact, that was probably a component in leading to the sustained pain that he had
Correct.
throughout his life.
Correct.
Now, I think what was really interesting in Robert's case was his pain was on his right side. This is another one of those cases where I described that in 30 to 40% of cases, the cause of his pain was his left hip muscles were weak, and
Right.
he was not weight-bearing on that side.
Right.
So as a result of that, he had that typical overload effect.
Right.
When he would step off his left foot, he would actually lean onto his right side, creating an excess load. And that was asking that low back muscle to have to take that load, and that was what his problem was. So we did the process, and we were able to figure it out. And one of the most fascinating things when you looked at Robert, which was a telltale sign of this situation, was when you looked at Robert when he first came in, I would say that his right shoulder, I believe it was about 3 inches higher than his left shoulder. I'm talking substantially higher. And you said that that was an issue that you had noticed but didn't understand what the cause was, correct?
Well, I kind of knew the cause because, again, imagine a little small 7-year-old kid whose mother dropped him off at the golf course at 8 in the morning and picked him up at 6 at night. And all I did all day long was carry a golf bag. And that was back before they had that even distribution system. So even though it was a carry bag, I'm walking around like this, pretty much my whole life. And I always thought that was maybe had something to do with, what I was feeling. And it really came to roost when I was walking one day. This was during COVID, and I was, counting my miles, had my Garmin, I'd count my steps every day. And I got to, like it always happens, the furthest from where you start, right? And I just kind of went down to my knees. And I could, when I got up, I could feel myself adjusting by kicking my left side out and lowering my right side. And that was the way I basically crawled home. And I just felt so discombobulated, out of sorts. And it just seemed like it was a balance thing to me.
So I guess my question to you is, obviously this has been going on for a very long time. What was it in listening to the show? And literally, it was the first show, and kind of a cool thing. When I asked Robert about it, he said, I can't believe that was your first show. I thought you guys had been on a month. So
right.
I guess kudos to me and Matt for sounding pretty professional. So I thought that was pretty cool. But what was it in what we were talking about that convinced you this was worthy of calling follow through with?
Well, I was looking for a way to rectify this issue. I didn't want surgery, I didn't want the downtime. And what you said made perfect sense to me. And it kind of fit my way of thinking about it, that, there has to be a way to deal with this without going under the knife. And what you said made absolutely perfect sense.
How close do you think you were to surgery, Robert? Like in your head, do you think?
I don't know. I'm kind of a weird person. I had open heart surgery in 2012 for what they thought was an issue with a valve. They opened me up and found nothing. So I'm kind of a reluctant under the knife person when you go, because, like any surgery, as the doctor said, no matter big or small, the recovery is probably worse than the surgery itself. And so I had open heart surgery for no purpose. It ended up to be. But my recovery was the same as if they, put in a new valve or done whatever. So I was very reluctant, to go under a knife. So I probably just would have done my best to deal with
the pain, right?
Yeah.
Right, which is what, Mitchell, we hear this over and over and over from people. It's I don't want to have surgery, so I'm just going to deal with it. It's what it is. I got to live my life like that, and it's not what it is. You don't have to deal with it.
This is a very strange quandary, and it's very unique in human history where the idea of failure being an acceptable endpoint. So there are people who have tried multiple treatments, whatever those treatments might be, and they get to the point where they either are told there's nothing left to do, or they are hesitant to go any further with treatments, and as a result of that, they on their own decide the best thing they could do is stop doing the activities that bring on their symptoms. And I think one of the highlight points of the Yass method, which make it so unique, is the fact that it does relate your pain, your dysfunction, to a exact cause, muscular deficit, that in fact, your dysfunction, your inability to walk, stand, climb, sit for any period of time, reach for anything, and the pain you're having are actually joined by the fact that the tissue in distress is muscle. And the beautiful part of that, and I think Robert will attest to it, is that when you have muscular deficits, we're not talking, you might have 400 to 500 muscles, but we're only talking typically about 3 to 4 muscles that have gone into distress, leading to your dysfunction and your pain. And so, Robert, I think what do you do, 4 exercises when you come?
4 exercises.
4 exercises. And I think what we want to talk about the uniqueness of my exercises are the fact that they are specific and purposeful. So in my evaluation, which goes beyond simply looking at Robert's pain, we are trying to see what brings it on, what makes it get better. Then we're going to look at things, if it's muscular, are there postural variations? Robert's case was tremendous. His pelvis and his shoulders were not level by 2 to 3 inches. That indicates a muscular deficit. If your pelvis is level and your shoulders are level, that tells you have strength and balance. Any variation shows weakness or imbalance. We looked at a single leg stand, the ability to stand on one leg, and we could see that on his left leg. It was literally impossible. Impossible. One of the other interesting aspects, which will relate to today's topic, was that one of the things you saw in his difficulty in standing was that his left foot would cave in. He had no support of his arch. That was a factor in his ability to weight bear, and since muscles work cumulatively to allow that function, one muscle at the hip was actually causing the muscles at the foot to break down, and that's why we saw that. So those are the points where we had to work on strengthening to get him to function properly, and that in itself would reduce the pain. So we always want to make sure people understand, you don't treat pain. We never treat pain. We treat dysfunction or we treat tissues. If it's muscle, then that's what we have to address. And the typical reason for a muscular deficit or a muscular cause is that you live in a gravitational environment, that you have to push up against that to try to do any activity, even grabbing a cup of coffee or brushing a toothbrush.
There's no avoiding it.
There is no avoiding it. You have to use your muscles for life. So if there is any kind of weakness or imbalance, that will present as a pain, whether it's in the muscle, whether it's in a joint, whether it's a referred muscle or a referred symptom. But the reality is it's muscular, and the only way to resolve that is through targeted strength training, which is at the core of the Yass method.
All right, when we come back, we'll get into today's topic, foot facts. You know, plantar fasciitis, bunions, inner and outer shin pain, all of it. And we'll keep Robert for another segment just in case you want to know more about the process of getting pain-free and have a question for him. And really how easy it truly is. All right, it's the Pain-Free Living Hour with Dr. Mitchell Yass on 1010XL.
Are you an experienced plumber with pipes of steel or a plumber's helper ready to dive into new plumbing adventures? This is Ellen Darley of Darley's Plumbing with an opportunity that should have you flush with excitement. At Darley's, we believe that plumbing isn't just a job, it's a chance to showcase your skills and unclog your way to a brighter future. Plus, you'll be the hero of every household. So if you've got the flow and a passion for plumbing, come join our team at Darley's Plumbing. Equal opportunity employer.
Registration is now open for the Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. Over $400,000 in cash and prizes. with payouts up to 20 places. Of course, there's awesome prizes for lady anglers. And bring along your junior anglers. Anyone can get in on the fun. Register today at kingfishtournament.com. Even if you're not in the water, you'll enjoy exhibits, food, kids' activities, and a fireworks display at the Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament.
Denny Thompson here. Are you a home builder looking for a reliable low-voltage partner? Look no further than Tyson Sound and Security. They've been working hard with large and small builders for 15 years. Here's why they are the top choice. They will enhance your home buyer's home experience by offering custom home design appointments, and your budget stays intact while they deliver top quality services. Builders, send your plans over today to bid. Tyson Sound and Security, security and home automation experts.
Hurricane season is officially underway, and now's the perfect time to make sure your home is protected from those storms by scheduling a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. And right now, get 15% off your roofing project, plus flexible financing. This offer expires July 31st and restrictions apply. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 1330747, CCC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and I said yes to Yass, Dr. Mitchell Yass, and the Yass method. Now, I know you've probably tried medications, treatments, injections, even surgery. Maybe the reason you're still in pain is because they're treating the wrong thing and not addressing the root causes. Well, I know from personal experience, this does happen. But I found the best-kept secret in pain elimination, Dr. Yass and the Yass method. Call them today, 904-906-YASS, and say yes to Yass.
Play fantasy golf against your favorite 1010XL personalities.
Oh, come on. What do you say? Are you in?
The Open Championship.
Fantastic show.
Win a family barbecue feast from Woody's Barbecue. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors. Enter at 1010XL.com.
Hey, Hickett here. Look, you've been hearing me talk about Zero Res for a while now, but there's 3 things they tell you that I agree with about their company. Best process, best people, and have a promise to do the best cleaning possible every time. And they offer a great deal every month. Well, guess what? July is National Carpet Cleaning Month. For home carpet cleaning, they're offering $49 per room. And for businesses, 20% off in July. Zero Res, man. Spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. Attention corporate event planners and team leaders. Step away from the ordinary and treat your team or clients to an exceptional corporate event at Foursquare Golf Tavern. With great fellowship, elevated food, handcrafted cocktails, and the excitement of golf simulators and football on the big screen, it's an experience you won't find anywhere else. Call or visit our website to learn more about hosting your next corporate event with us. Let's make it a day of team building, celebration, and unforgettable memories at Foursquare Golf Tavern.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Keeping your body healthy and active leads to a more vibrant life. A great place to do that is the First Coast YMCA. The Y is equipped with state-of-the-art cardio and strength equipment, plus group exercise studios where trainers host activities like yoga, Zumba, and cycling sessions. The full-court basketball gym and indoor 5-lane swimming pool are open year-round. The Kids Zone can keep an eye on your kids while you work on that dad bod. And it's all available with your family membership. Learn more at fcymca.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
All right, we're back in the Pain-Free Living Hour with Dr. Mitchell Yass. It's a Foot Facts Sunday. Yeah.
You know,
fasciitis, bunions, inner and outer shin pain, all of it. You can get involved. 904-641-1010. Give us a call and talk about your pains. Dr. Yass will do his best to explain how he can help. In fact, we've got Charles on the line right now before we get back into our Foot Facts. Charles, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Dr. Yass, can you follow up on something from last week?
Sure, absolutely. What do you got?
5 years ago, was in 2 accidents within a week of each other, and I have neck pain since. And you mentioned something last week about neck pain and how when you touch the bicep, it tells you this, that, or the other. Well, on the same side as the neck pain, my left bicep is killing me all the time, and I've been putting lidocaine patches on it, and all that does is eat a hole in my skin and make it bleed.
Yeah, so here's the thing. We were just talking in the earlier segment about the idea that when 2 things or multiple things are happening at the same time, instead of thinking that there's an independent cause to each one and going to, in your case, a neck doctor and a shoulder doctor, you want to kind of think that maybe there is a joint cause. And here's what I would tell you. My suspicion is that based on what you're saying is that your rotator cuff is strained. It's not torn. It's not torn. It's strained. And as a result of that, it's not being allowed to pull the head of your arm bone down as you raise your arm. So as a result, the head of the arm bone is coming up and impacting the top of the shoulder joint. It turns out that the bicep tendon runs through that space.
Ah, that's what it was, the biceps tendon thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So that is called impingement syndrome, and it is a result of shoulder dysfunction. Well, along with the rotator cuff in the back of the shoulder and shoulder blade area, there are other muscles that help to stabilize the shoulder blade to allow normal shoulder function to occur. Well, they may be weak. So as a result of that, there is a muscle that runs from the shoulder blade to the upper cervical region. That is called the levator scapula. That may be overworking in compensation for other muscles not doing what they're supposed to. So now it's eliciting pain in the neck region.
Gotcha.
So you're not having a cervical issue. You're having shoulder dysfunction responsible for both of those symptoms due to muscular deficits.
Okay, and I understand that part. Now, over on the right-hand side, this doesn't feel like muscles to me, but in the armpit, the very top rib bone.
Yes.
That feels like it's on fire every time, like I reach over from my nightstand to grab my flashlight or something.
So let's just hit this again. You just said the activation of the symptom is an activity, reaching over. So by definition, you'd have to assume that that's a muscular cause. Well, it turns out that there is a muscle called the serratus anterior, which attaches from the shoulder blade to guess where? All 8 ribs. 8 out of 10 of the locked-in ribs. And it runs directly under your arm. So it sounds to me like you have shoulder dysfunction on that side, and it's just that you have a different muscle responding and compensating, leading to a different pain. But the cause is still basically the same. Shoulder dysfunction due to weakness or imbalance.
And Mitchell, you're talking about a muscle deficit. And the only way to fix that muscle deficit is to strengthen it.
He just said that he has to try to reach. Reaching is against gravity. There is a force requirement. If his muscles don't have the force equivalent output, then they're going to strain. That's why he's having his problem, specifically with the activity.
All right, Charles.
Okay, thanks, guys. Yeah, because that one doggone rib bone hurts all day long. But thanks, guys. And I'm getting my car out of the shop tomorrow or Tuesday, hopefully, and then I'll come out and see you, Dr. Yass.
That sounds great. And once we
then
fix
you can watch me walk down the hallway. Then you can see what it is.
We'll fix you, and then we'll have you on the show.
Okay, man. Sounds great.
All right, thank you, Charles. So, Mitchell, this is to me, this is kind of like a microcosm of what we're talking about today. Not necessarily with footbacks, but the idea of pain and getting out of pain. You can hear. Here's how it works. You can hear from Robert. Hey, I made the decision. I'm done living in pain. I gotta call him. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about. I'm gonna call him and see what's going on. You can delay. At some point, you've got to make the decision. Do you want to be in pain, continued pain, or do you want to get out of pain?
And I think that there's several things involved. Number one, most people in our culture believe that the MRI is the primary mechanism for diagnosing, and the important thing to understand, and I keep saying it, is it's a snapshot in time. It's finding a structural variation, but that may not be the cause today. That may have existed for 20 years, 30 years. You don't know. Number two, muscular causes do not show up on diagnostic testing. So If Robert's weakness of his gluteus medius was not identified by me and he just went through that process, he was never going to have that identified and he was never going to have his pain resolved. The same thing goes with Charles. That reaching thing, that serratus anterior straining, that's not going to show up on a diagnostic test. So if in fact you're open to the idea that maybe the cause is muscular, which I would hope would be enhanced by the fact that your pain is associated with functional activities bringing it on, then that should lead you to say maybe this guy has a unique understanding that could benefit me.
Right. If you're not moving and it doesn't hurt, there's a reason it doesn't hurt. You're not moving.
Right.
That's kind of what it is. Like when I sat there for a year with my Achilles, the best way to keep it from hurting, stop moving.
Right. And I try to bring on the idea. So people they identify structural variations, herniated disc, stenosis, arthritis. Well, let's take a different type. Let's say you had a kidney stone and it was causing massive pain. Do you think that would be varied if you were sitting, standing, if you were sleeping, or anything like that? Or would it just be a kidney stone that would cause the same intensity regardless? Right? If you were having a heart attack and you were having pain in your chest, I don't think that would be altered by whether you were laying down, walking, standing. You're going to have that. So what you start recognizing is that structural variations, if creating symptom, are typically constant with very little variation in intensity of symptom, right? Muscular causes basically are enhanced through activity and decrease with rest. That's the important thing. Now, certainly there's going to be people who say, well, my pain is worse at night. Correct. And that's because you're not using your muscles. And when you're not using your muscles, that's when they have the greatest chance to shorten. And when they shorten, that's when you get the concentration of pain receptors. And that's when your pain is so intense. So anyone who's having their worst symptoms at night, you're almost basically describing you're having a muscular cause.
Also, the less exercise you get, the more your muscle shortens, correct?
Correct.
So you're actually hurting yourself by not doing your typical daily life because you're not exercising. You're not using that force requirement, right?
Correct, exactly. So the best thing, and people would realize this because the chronic pain epidemic only began in the mid-1980s at the time of the invention and development of automation, where jobs and activities became more sedentary. Prior to that, nobody was having chronic pain because all activities were manual in nature and multidirectional. So you were sustaining the strength of your muscles, thereby preventing them from straining when you did your activities. It's now that everybody's sitting for long, sustained periods of time, certain muscles have a tendency to weaken, and as a result of that, that makes them susceptible to straining or causing compensation in other muscles straining or causing other joints to have to take loads they weren't designed to, and that's why you end up having your symptoms.
It's if you really sit there and just mark it out step by step, you can clearly see where you're at and what you need to do to get healthy. All right, Dr. Yass, speaking of getting healthy, let's now transition to foot facts.
Okay, so this is not the most common. We've always talked about back and neck and all this stuff, but I have treated a good number of people with pain on the inside or outside of their shins, around the foot, plantar fasciitis, bunions. And so I thought I would just give a little bit of understanding about the easiest ways to just prevent that from occurring. And the first fact is so critical that it warrants a very unique fact alert. So here we go. This can't be any more important. I don't care. We are talking about foot, but if you're having back pain, knee pain, hip pain, ankle, I don't care where it is. The number one fact, feet should always be hip width apart when standing, walking, weight bearing. Feet should always be hip width apart when weight bearing. Now, why isn't everyone doing that? The answer is, remember those sitting jobs? The number one muscle that is affected by not being utilized is the gluteus medius muscle right here. And that is a muscle that is responsible for balance and stability. And what it does is if it weakens, the opposite side hip drops. And what it'll do is it's going to change you from weight bearing through the midline of your foot to the inside of your foot. And as that happens, that could affect the arch. And in affecting the arch, there are two muscles that are responsible for supporting the arch. Look at these. Look at these two muscles right here.
If you're watching on the live stream, Dr. Yass now has pictures of the foot.
It's the posterior tibialis muscle and the anterior tibialis muscle. You could Google that. Posterior, anterior tibialis muscle. You could see this picture, and you'll see that it's attaching to the ankle bones on the inside. And because the muscles are up, they act as a hook and pull up on the arch. So I really think this is a great, great example. I'm going to show you somebody, and again, if you're listening, if you get a chance to go to the live stream, you can see this picture because it's pretty dramatic. This is what it looks like when you lose your arch.
Basically, the foot is collapsed inside.
So if you took the center line of this guy's shin, literally, it's on the inside of his foot. It is literally running right down to the inside of his foot. He is almost weight-bearing on the inside of his ankle. So what that does is it flattens the arch. In flattening the arch, that makes the plantar fascia become overstretched and susceptible to straining. So there's your plantar fasciitis. It also causes you to weight bear excessively on the first ball of the foot. That's what leads to bunions. So for all those people who have had multiple bunionectomies, who continue to have multiple bunionectomies, taking away the excess bone isn't going to resolve the cause. The cause is your weight bearing excessively on the first ball of the foot. So I am telling people here and now, if you want to stop bunions and getting bunionectomies, strengthen the gluteus medius muscle right here and strengthen the anterior and posterior tibialis muscles. 3 muscles, 2 exercises, and we can end plantar fasciitis and bunionectomies.
Don't let someone tell you it's your shoes, okay?
Yeah, you're right.
Don't let someone tell you immediately need surgery, because this is what we're talking about. And I've said this over and over, and for me, it's just so pertinent. It's no surgery, no shots, no pills.
It's really just understanding how the body adapts to gravity. That's what my method really entails. I have been able to understand when there is deficit and where the force lines of gravity should be running through your joints, and when they're not, which muscles are not doing what they're supposed to allow that to work properly. And then we just correct it through the appropriate targeted strength training that we use with progressive resistance to strengthen the muscles. So
it is literally, and if you're listening out there and you're trying to think, how could it be this simple? It is literally muscle deficit, muscle strengthening. That's it.
And I think that if you could just recognize that this never began until the advent of automation, there was no chronic pain. Everybody was doing everything manually. It was the shift to doing things computerized and with basically in sitting positions that have led to these primary 2 muscles, the gluteus medius and maximus, to strain or weaken and then make them susceptible to straining and eliciting pain or causing pain in other areas with weight bearing. I mean, that really is the thrust of why the planet is now suffering with chronic pain.
You also have to have someone who can understand what it is and tell you it's this muscle and that muscle, and this is how we're going to strengthen it, which is exactly what the Yass method is.
And the point to that was I started off in physical therapy, saw that I didn't get the value that I wanted in my ability to treat people, and then went on and enhanced my understanding through the creation of the Yass method. So that is an important point. It is highly unique, and basically, I'm the only one at this point utilizing it.
All right, that's wrapping up segment number 2. We're going to come back with a final segment. And again, if you want to get involved with Dr. Yass and you have a question for him, give us a call, 904-641-1010, just like Charles did. He'll do his best to explain to you what's going on, and maybe even we can get you into his office to get a little help and eliminate the pain. Not make it go away for a week or 2 or a month, but eliminate your pain for a pain-free living. It's 1010XL.
Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is the sports medicine leader in Northeast Florida. We're proud to be the official sports medicine provider for your hometown teams, including the Jaguars, Sharks, Axemen, Armada, and the Jumbo Shrimp. We have the most cutting-edge resources for sports medicine care, including active armor casting, Alter-G anti-gravity treadmills, and highly trained physicians and athletic trainers. JOI is truly where the pros go, and so should you.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. We're your local family jeweler for 46 years in Jacksonville with a huge selection of diamonds, gemstones, and pre-owned Rolex watches. And Monahan Jewelers is your store for expert jewelry repair turned around in 1 or 2 days. Most jewelry stores take 2 weeks or more, and many stores send your jewelry somewhere else for repair. At Monahan Jewelers, our jewelry repair is done in-house by expert craftsmen, and Monahans can turn around most repairs in a day or two. So bring your jewelry repair to Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Major League Baseball is always on at Perfect Rag Billiards in Murray Hill. Whether you're a Ray, Cub, or even Yankee, Perfect Rag Billiards always has all the games live. Tons of awesome beer and food specials for the weekend, from Fireball Fridays, Seltzer Saturdays, and brunch on Sundays. That along with tons of pool tables, shuffleboards, darts, and more. Get on out of the house for the action and come to Perfect Rag Billiards in Murray Hill, where you can catch all the MLB action. Perfect Rag Billiards in Murray Hill, a great place to watch sports.
Have breakfast with Hall of Famer Tony Baselli. He may even bring his gold jacket.
I got a feeling he's going to be on his best behavior.
Monday mornings on The Drill. Brought to you by Epstein & Robbins DUI Defense Firm and Mr. Reuter Plumbing. Breakfast provided by Chick-fil-A.
Superior Fence and Rail knows about exceptional customer service. From the first call to the final inspection, Superior's team provides first-class care with great communication, friendly installers, and quality fence products. There's a reason why Superior is the top-rated fence company in Jacksonville. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your new fence today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
I'm Dr. Mitchell Yass, the most unknown world-renowned expert on pain elimination. That's right, elimination. If you've tried medications, injections, physical therapy, chiropractic, even surgery, and still experience pain, then say yes to Yass. I have successfully used the Yass method for over 30 years to help thousands reclaim their lives. To learn more, call me at 904-906-YASS. Let's end your pain and say yes to Yass.
It's back! The Big One sales event is here, and it's going on now at Arlington Toyota. Mia here in Arlington has over 400 new Toyotas available. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and family vans. And that means now's the time to go big and go home in style. Plus, with every new Toyota purchase, you get Arlington's lifetime warranty and their 30-day exchange program. But don't wait. The Big One sales event won't last long, so shop today. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Are you tired of having a plain and boring backyard? Really want to impress your family and friends this year? Then stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway. Imagine hosting guests at your new outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new pergola. Stone Core, your new outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new pergola. A reality. Stone Core, your new outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new reality. Stone Core, your new outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new reality. Stone Core, outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new reality. Stone Core, outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new reality. Stone Core, outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new reality. Stone Core, outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new reality. Stone Core, outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new reality. Stone Core, outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new reality. Stone Core, outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new reality.